great.
There's only water, folks.
All right, so we will convene the meeting at 7:01 p.m. And let me share packet. Maybe. Sorry, I use WebEx all day and I share my screen all day, but I don't use Zoom. Here we go. Let's go up to the top. All right. So attendance-wise, we have present, and I just lost my fun little view. Jonathan, Monique, Katie, Megan, Ryan, Drew.
Luis is here.
Luis, sorry, you were way up at the top. I skipped you. And then who are we missing? Johnny. Anyone else?
Chip.
Chip.
Abba.
Abba. Now, Abba definitely should be here because she's got her stuff on the agenda. Finally, so it's her big day. Hopefully she'll be here soon. I haven't heard anything from any of those folks not coming. So let's kick it off with our vision, mission, and core values. Drew, you want to start?
Absolutely. Our vision is to help globally minded citizens who have the knowledge, skills, and attitudes to affect positive change in our world.
All right. Mission, Brian. Here.
You're moving it on me. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
All right. Mission. The Globe Academy fosters global learning opportunities through balanced education for children of all backgrounds. With a focus on dual language immersion, an experiential learning model, and a constructivist approach, Globe inspires students to be high-performing lifelong learners, equipped to make a positive impact in the world.
All right, Megan, you want to go with the core values?
Sure. Core values. The Globe Academy's core values are expressed in the acronym CREST: community, respect, empathy, sustainability, and trust. These values are expected of the governing board, faculty, staff, parents, and students. They are woven into the daily life at Globe and incorporated into the curriculum.
All right, Monique.
Community. We are inclusive and we nurture and support one another.
Katie.
Respect. We treat ourselves and each other with kindness and dignity.
Jonathan. You're muted.
Sorry, I was trying to be clever, hitting my space bar. Empathy. We strive to understand and share the feelings of others.
Christy.
Sustainability. We aim to conserve our resources for optimal use in the present and future.
And Luis.
Trust. We are committed to honesty, transparency, and respectfully sharing our thoughts and encouraging others to do the same.
Wonderful. All right, I was just checking if we got any.
I see Chip might be on the attendee list.
Oh, good.
I'm here.
He's here. Where's your video? All right.
It's coming as soon as I stop sweating.
Great. So I do not have anyone for public comment. Is anyone aware of anyone else who wanted public comment today? Great. Then for the agenda, to approve the consent agenda, we did identify one item that we missed, which is to add the executive session we had at the last meeting, we didn't vote out of, and we have additional information today, so we want to include in the old business an executive session, so we'll do it after all the other reports. So I would like us to approve the consent agenda with that one change.
It's at the bottom.
You added it?
Mm-hmm. It's probably not on your link, but the link that's out public right now is on.
Oh, you
at the
updated
bottom.
it? Oh, then I
Yeah, I
don't have
did.
to change it. Let me, let me grab it. That would be great.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, Abba, welcome.
Thank you.
There we go. All right. Maybe. Can't get to it to move it. There you go. This isn't the PDF I had before. Agenda. Sorry. It's not letting me move on the screen. Download packet. Yeah. That's the old one. Oh, sorry, it's down here. So, okay. That thing when you're trying to do PowerPoint or something and everyone's watching you. Just things that you once knew how to do, you can no longer do. Okay, I see it. Perfect. All right, then we can consider the consent agenda accepted. If there's no discussion. And then we go to PTCC report. April, are you doing it? Oh, here you go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, I just shared my screen.
We can see it.
Okay, cool. So we did have a couple upcoming events that have been canceled just due to COVID-19. The anti-bullying magic show, we were going to have that. So we are trying to work with the magician to see if we could do that virtually. She was still working out some kinks with that. So if we are able to do so, then we'll coordinate with the head of schools and get that scheduled somehow virtually. Teacher Appreciation Week, we do have some things planned for that. So that will be a virtual Teacher Appreciation Week. So we are planning on doing and moving forward with that. Our Globe auction, we have determined just due to everything that we will move virtually with that on May 16th. And James Bratton will be our MC. So we've done some testing and things in the background just to make sure that everything works. It will be free. There will not be a ticket cost this year. So we likely will not collect as much funds as we typically do, but at least it will give people an opportunity to have some fun, and we still will be able to pull in some money. But we will not be charging, so it's open to everyone. You still have to register so that you can get your appropriate bidding number and have everything built in on the back end, but that will be free, and it will be on May 16th. It will be open, bidding will be open for 24 hours, so you'll have 24 hours to actually bid. So communications have been constantly going out via Facebook and the newsletter. So in process of getting the photographs for class projects, getting all of that underway. Additionally, we are calling businesses just to ensure that the donations that have been made to date are still valid. We have several camps and restaurants, and we just want to make sure that those businesses are able to still uphold to what they have donated. Teacher grants, we had several teacher grants that were issued that the trainings have been canceled and or postponed. So we're working with those teachers to ensure that that money is earmarked for next year so that they can still continue with whatever they have been granted for this school year. So that we're working with those individuals as well. For Earth Day, we did do electronic recycling, which the bins are set up at Lower Campus. That will be set up through Wednesday. So that information also was in the weekly reminders and has been publicized on Facebook as well. We're currently in process of doing our elections for the 2021 school year. And for co-chair, we had one person on our ballot, Laura Hancock. She is currently the fundraising co-chair. So she has been nominated to run for co-chair. So, and then Christina Spivey for secretary. She is a fairly new parent, but has a first grader here at Globe. So excited about that. The voting will close on April the 30th. We're still in search of PAC leads, classroom PAC, facilities, fundraising, and global awareness. So, and a bookkeeper / treasurer in training. So if there's anyone that anybody knows about, please put them in contact with us for those open positions. Those are not necessarily voted positions. Those are just on a voluntary basis. So we don't have to worry about doing elections for those. We only do elections for officer positions. So that's all I have. Any questions?
So is there a portion of the auction that's live, or where does James come in?
He's going to be our hype man. We're still working out those kinks, but we are thinking that there may be some Facebook Live opportunities. So we're going to come out with a schedule, and based upon that schedule, there be opportunities and times, specific times where he'll be live.
Okay, cool.
Quick question, April, regarding the recycling, the electronic recycling thing that we have going on right now. Does the school or does the PTCC get anything for doing that? I'm just trying to figure out how much of an effort I need to make to gather these things and actually bring them there, or is it just a service that you're doing for families because it is hard to figure out how to get rid of that stuff?
It's just a service that we're doing to give back, to participate in Earth Day and do our part for recycling. So we're not getting any money for it at all. And just something that, it's difficult sometimes to find places for these electronics. So just providing a give back to the community.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you, April. That was great.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Christy with your report.
All right. April, do you need to stop sharing or can I just go ahead and share?
You should be able to just share.
Got it. Okay. All right. You can see here's my report. Distance learning, you'll hear a little bit more about that from each campus in just a few minutes, but I just wanted to say thank you to all the families who took the survey for the distance learning. That was super helpful for us as a admin and leadership team to really hone in on what was working, what wasn't working, what did we need to change, what did we need to stop, just all those good things. So thank you so much for taking the time to do that. It was really, really helpful for us. And I have to just for a second, just take a moment. And I just want to say that our staff does not, they never cease to amaze me. They have risen to the occasion and they have problem solved and they have worked things out. And, I think we all have hit that wall, whether we're at, family at home and trying to work and trying to make this all right for everyone. And we really have amazing people and amazing teachers. And I just want to put that out there and just say thank you for all that they are doing to make Globe continue to be Globe. So just a big thank you, and thank you to all the parents who are lovingly trying hard to be co-teachers with us. So we thank you for your efforts, and we know that it's not ideal, but we really appreciate everything you're doing. And the other thing is, make sure everyone saw the announcement that went out that we did decide to go ahead and end that 3.5 days earlier. So the last day of students on learning and in virtual classrooms and all that good stuff will be on the 15th, and we'll take that next week to get teachers into the building, social distancing, so we can get that done in a timely manner. So thank you for all that. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and give us an update on strategic plan. Don't forget, most everything we're doing right now, we're pushing pause, but let's go ahead and get that done. All right. So here's our update on strategic plan. We started this almost 2 years ago now, trying to get this all put together. I wanted to show this slide. I know many of you have seen it over and over and over again, but I wanted to remind everybody where we started and that we really began with 4 main initiatives. Through talking with everyone and data and surveys and all that good stuff we really came up with 4 main initiatives that were really important to us. One being school facilities, organizational development, core instruction, and diversity, equity, inclusion. And those are our 4 main initiatives, but then we had sub-initiatives underneath each one that we wanted to make sure we could get to by school year ending 2025. So I know that seems in quite the distance, but that's where we are headed. So hopefully all of these will have a nice big green check mark next to each one as we end that school year of 2025. So we took that strategic plan and then we broke it into an implementation roadmap. Now you will notice that at the top we have year 0, year 1, and then year 2. And the reason why you don't see all the years marked out there is we knew that at the end of year 2, we were really going to have to evaluate, see where we were, what we were able to accomplish really well, what we were falling behind on, and redo our goals and initiatives for those following years. One thing I want to make sure you can see is that with each of these initiatives, we have a team that is working together to make that move forward. And then when you get into each sub-initiative, you will see that it's breaking down even further of people who are making this move along. So here's an example of one that is broken down even further so you can see what we do. So you can see that this is coming from school facilities over here in yellow, and you can see that that is 2.1. Oh shoot, went the wrong way, hold on. So here it is 2.1 at the top, and you can see that it is broken down to objectives, impact goals, key deliverables, all that. And over here on the right, each section has owners that report progress to the planning team. And down here, as you see the planning team, and we tried to really expand each of these initiatives into manageable steps so that we know that we could get as far along as we could get. So just give you an example there. This is a metaphor that we actually used with staff and to try, for people to understand what exactly we're trying to do, because we knew that we couldn't just take this and go in a straight line and go from one end of the field to the next. We knew that it was going to require a team. As we really wanted to send home the message that persistence is a lot more important than perfection here. We knew that we were going to fall down, get back up, redo our strategies, but keep moving down that field. And I think that's what we've done. And, it's kind of funny, we kind of got sapped here with COVID. So we realized that, and that's why we pushed pause on most of it, but I'll show you where we're headed. So one way we decided how we wanted to determine progress is if you see something that's highlighted in green, that we were really able to get 90% to 100% complete with this initiative or goal. Yellow, we're at 50 to 90% complete, and red, either we had not begun it and we should have, or we didn't get very far at all. So that's what we used to determine that. So here's one. We'll start with organizational development. You can see up here in year 1 that we had 3 things we really wanted to get through with that. 1.2, 1.3, we were definitely able to get that done. 1.6, this is actually the piece that we are not pushing pause on. If you noticed, I said the last board meeting that we were pushing pause except for the dashboard. We're really trying to get that complete because there's a lot of other things that that needs to be complete before we can actually move forward with some other steps. So we're not pushing pause on that because we can do that virtually and keep moving on it. Year 1, we are in the middle of getting the rest of the job descriptions and relationships, management relationships and roles and responsibilities complete. So we're doing that. Expand communication strategy to drive inclusion and consistency. Katris has come on board and she's really working hard to get all those done. The communication plan and strategy is nearly complete. It's right at around 90%. And so that's going to be shared with community in August when we come back. So everybody's on the same page, parents, staff, everybody. So I'm excited about that. Creating staffing vision year by year, org chart budget implications. That was started, but then all of our budget stuff came. So we just kind of put that on hold for right now till we get that all worked out. And then you can see the last one, design and implement a continuous improvement school review cycle. That's one of those that we did not get started, but we really need that dashboard complete and done so then we can really get on that yearly review cycle. So that's where we are with that.
So Christy,
Next thing.
Is the communication strategy coming to the board for approval?
Yes, but it won't come probably June, I think.
Okay.
All right, the next one is school facilities. And you can see there, many of you that are actually on here have seen the master plan for lower campus and upper campus. So those were complete, but the planned renovations and going ahead and implementing our priorities, we have put those on hold for right now. And then we're in the midst of developing that long-term facility plan and establishing regular facility and audit procedures. So that's where we are with that. Core instruction. You can, oh shoot, so sorry. Core instruction. My pictures of people are in the wrong place. There we go. Fully adopt phonics program for English, Common Math curriculum K5 and 6-8, and full implementation of Readers and Writers Workshop. We feel like we are doing a good job with that. Still learning new stuff every year. And then you can see year one, the first semester, define the profile of the graduate, launch the task force to research global learning curriculum and immersion model, and define the vision of excellent teaching with teachers and staff. And then 3.2, again, is down here with collaborate on vision of excellent teaching. We were in the middle of that when we had to close our building. So all of that is being pushed on pause so we can start that back. And those are things we cannot do virtually because we were actually videotaping teachers and coming together as a staff and looking at that and talking about what went well and does it align with our vision of teaching of excellence and all that good stuff. So that's where we are with that. No, it's not. Okay, last one is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We did hold our responsive classroom training this year and how that incorporates into our student behavior plan. Year one, we were very sad when it came to our budget implications and moving forward with that outside vendor. So we've got to revamp, redo, and see where we're going to head with that team. Drew, who is one of our fourth grade teachers, he's the one who's in charge of the Design a Strong Start school culture plan, and he has already got his team together. They have made progress, but we were not able to complete that before we had to close the building. So that's where we are with that. So our next steps, we really want to celebrate the successes that we had this year because we got a lot done and the staff really pulled together. There were times when we would come to a staff meeting and everybody was dog tired. And here we are developing our profile of a graduate, but they put a smile on their face and dug in, and I was really proud of them. Incorporate the lessons learned from year one into planning for year two. So we got to revamp that while next year, as we are revamping that, we also need to be conscious of making sure that we work on school year 21-22, 22-23 plans in this upcoming school year. So we'll have that ready to go for next summer as we move into that school year. We really feel like we have a strong plan. We have a good partnership with North Star. Staff is doing really good work and moving this plan forward. So I feel really good about that. And our last next step is just to be in the mindset of consistently reviewing where we are in this plan, what we've able to accomplish to ensure that we can end where we want to be in 2025. So any questions from you guys? Okay, so,
Christy,
oh yeah,
real quick, Ryan here. Don't know if you can see me on your screen or not. You know, it sounds like I mean, a lot of the stuff that was read was either kind of budget or timeline and somewhat related to school stopping. I don't know if it was trending that way before that happened, but it sounded like you mentioned that a couple of times, that having to just pause the school year put a lot of stuff on hold. So I think probably what we will need, or what we would look for you to bring to us once we know a little bit more about starting up the school year next year, is just kind of the adjustment plan. So I think that we're going to need to just recalibrate our reality and, you know, take everything that we have and say, okay, now based on what we know now and what we didn't get finished, whether it was because, you know, we dropped the ball, we lost capacity, COVID, budget, whatever it is, just kind of put that behind us, but then have a revised plan that we're all on the same page with, that we can start using as our kind of new benchmark. So I would think that, like, if we find out hopefully early to midsummer that we are going to open school on time, I would hope to see that before we actually open our doors, like maybe at the July meeting or something like that.
yes.
And we can nail it down later, but just putting that kind of out there, that I think we're going to need to do that to just reset for the new school year.
Got it. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions about that? Okay. End of year drop off and 8th grade graduation, details are coming with that, so just hang tight with that. Enrollment, we have a new enrollment sheet that we've been working on, so I'm excited to show that. So over here, you will see, is this showing up big enough? Can y'all see that?
Yeah,
Yes? Okay.
it on your
Yeah,
screen.
yeah.
Looking good to me.
Can what? What'd you say, Ryan?
I just was saying maybe you could maximize it and it just would fill the whole screen, but I can see enough of it.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so over here on the left, we have by grade level and language, we have beginning enrollment. We have plus and minuses that came out, in and out during the school year with our ending enrollment as it is right now. And then we do have month by month. So we are here in April. And we did not have any in April that have left, but you can see down here at the bottom. So we are here, our totals are here in our languages. And we had 8 join us this year with 21 who left us this year. So in and out. We're 13 down for the school year, which is really good. And we're working on doing this same thing. We're trying to work backwards so we can have this for every grade level. Every year that we have the data for, so we can backfill that information. So then we can really look at trends and see what's going on based on the data. So any questions about that? Nope. Okay. All right. Lottery, you can kind of see where we are with our lottery. Kindergarten, we're about to offer spots in number 11 through 15 on the wait list. That means we have 497 left on our wait list. 16 seats have declined. We may see a few more because language went out of what language each kindergarten student is going to be in. We always have some that decline because they didn't get the language they wanted. So we might see some of those come through. And you can go ahead and see their 6th grade all the way through 5th grade, how many people we have on the wait list, how many have declined, and so forth.
So how are people processing acceptances and paperwork and things like that now?
we're doing everything online. There are some things that we had to put on hold that we could not actually ask them to bring in because there are certain businesses and doctor's offices that are not doing those non-crucial things like the health form and all that that's for the first day of school. So we are saying if they have a copy of it, great, but if they don't, we're asking, you know, just the essential documents, if they can please send us to them in a PDF so we can get that marked off. But we're not doing every single piece just because they can't get it, some of them.
And on here, if it doesn't mention that there's anyone on a wait list on the language ones, then there's nobody. Is that right?
Can you tell me which one you're talking about?
Like it says, 2 French spots offered, 1 accepted, 1 declined. There's no wait list. 1's French spot offered and accepted.
Yeah, there's no wait list, right, correct, for 4th grade. Yeah, and so we're also running into a little bit of a snafu of, you know, if we have people come that would like to do that, we can't give them the stamp test in a secure environment. So I know that Sandra and Meg are working on using maybe the OPI interview so that we can get those kiddos accepted, or not accepted, but approved to enter into the application process.
Okay.
So, all right, I am going, say it again?
Christy?
Yes.
Just on the enrollment process, have you, this is more just anecdotal, I'm curious about your thoughts. Has COVID-19 and the change process for enrollment impacted, do you think, the way people are enrolling or decisions people are making? Do things look different this year in enrollment than they did last year outside of just the forms, but who's responding and who's saying yes, that kind of thing?
You know, we haven't dug that deep yet, but just on me looking at it, it doesn't look that different from last year of
Okay,
where we
just
were.
checking.
Yeah, but once we get all this done, we'll have Meg come back to and give us a whole rundown of everything and how that went and what happened. Yeah, that's a really good question.
Awesome, thanks.
Because that was one of our concerns, you know, to see is
Yeah.
this going to affect who comes and who doesn't and all that good stuff. So that was a very good question. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to ask, I'm not sure, Marcia or Judy, which one of you is going next to share your screen to give us the update of Upper Campus.
I have the slideshow, so I will share it. And then, hold on, I got to figure out how to share it and still then share my screen at the same time. Hold on a second. Okay, there's that. Oh, there we go. Okay. No. Hold on one second. I'm getting there. Got to get back to the first slide. Okay, sorry. All right, there we go. Okay. Can everybody see? Christy, give me a thumbs up. Can you see it? Okay, thanks. Sharon, thank you. You guys are the ones I happen to be able to see on my little minimized Zoom screen. Okay, so Marcia and I, Christy asked us to speak about the things that we are excited about that are going on with distance learning on our campus, and then Katia is going to speak about lower campus. And truth be told, we can't minimize it into a short slide presentation because there's so many things that we're excited about at Upper Campus. From the very beginning of distance learning, things that stood out to us were the dedication of all of our Upper Campus staff to really continue teaching. Nobody was interested in halting instruction or just sort of sticking with status quo. Everybody immediately wanted to figure out, how do we keep teaching? But at the same time, they recognize the importance of connecting with their students and keeping their students engaged. And so that's really been a parallel force this entire time, which we've been really excited about. We also have found that our Upper Campus staff are being very supportive of one another and very eager to share their findings with each other. There are regular emails that go back and forth with, hey, I found this is working great, why don't you try this? We've had teachers offer to make Loom videos for one another to support student learning and also support teacher learning. And then as the weeks have continued, we're finding our teachers more and more interested in literally climbing out of the Zoom or Google Meet box and figuring out ways to reach their kids in a different way. And we're finding that they are doing that way outside of the hours that we might expect them to work. They're meeting with kids individually, they're meeting with parents individually, they're team meeting with each other. They're really trying to figure out every possible way to make it work for their students. I do want to share some of those examples with you. So one of the things we asked our teachers to do was to create some way to communicate, particularly in our younger grades, what you're doing each week, because it's a little bit harder for our younger kids to figure out where everything is. So this is just a sample here of the 4th grade on the English-French track. When they come in every single week, they get a slide presentation that tells them what they have to do that week, what they can do that week. It tells them where to find each of their lessons, at which time, and all the passwords that they need to find. And then it goes through each of those subjects. And what's cool about this is that all the links are embedded. So kids can really work directly from here. And if they were to click on these links, which I will not do at this time, it loads them directly into the assignment that they can then submit in Google Classroom. So they don't have to go from here to a Google Doc, back to Google Classroom. It all just does it automatically for them. In our Spanish classes in particular, Senora Lopez, oh, this isn't gonna work for sound. You're just gonna see it. I just realized that. But she presents a video each week at the beginning of the week so her students can hear her speaking in Spanish with what the assignments are for the week, and she tells them where to go for the password. So all the same types of things that we saw in these 4th grade slides, except in Spanish with a face-to-face presentation. And these are just examples. Of course, all of our teachers are doing it a little bit differently. In 6th grade, well, particularly in science, our 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Schwartzmer, typically does an interactive notebook with her students for each unit. And she agonized over how she was going to do what she loves as her favorite unit in an interactive notebook. And so she spent spring break figuring out how to make an interactive notebook online. So she has put all of the charts and all of the pages that the kids need to do in here. She's given them all their assignments directly in here. So now they have an interactive notebook online. It all exists for them in Google Classroom. Which for her has been an innovative way of realizing that I can do this when we get back into the building and not only save paper, but also not have to worry about science notebooks being left at home or at school. Our 7th grade, I'm gonna let Marcia continue from here. Marcia, tell me where you want me to click.
Our 7th grade teachers have put together an online talent show for our kids, and it was strictly voluntary. But if Judy will click on, you'll be able to see some of the Flipgrid videos that they did.
Here we go.
We had some very, very simple ones and some much more complex ones.
And I'm just going to click through some of them again. I don't have everything set up for you to be able to hear from my screen. But Cheyenne was doing dog tricks.
Yeah. We had boys shooting baskets from a long distance away. This student is an artist. This was several girls. I'm not sure how they put together several different videos together. And of course there was music. We had magic tricks.
We'll skip that one. He's juggling toilet paper.
That's just to give you an idea of some of the things that they did. Our connection teachers have been very creative in the things that they've decided to do. There's DigiPE, which you can click on this and see some of the things. There's a dance party. There's a number of different activities that the PE teachers have put together to try to keep students active. We have daily meditations going out from one of our PE teachers. The music department is doing end of the year ensemble performances, putting them all together, individual performances put together so that there's one big format, and that's coming soon. They haven't finished putting that together yet. And interacting and engaging, we've had a lot of different kinds of things go on. There's been lunch bunches. Most of our teachers' aides have put together a lunch bunch where students can come and just hang out. They can bring a snack, they can bring their lunch, they can talk. One of the thing we hear most from the kids is how much they miss their friends. And so it gives them an opportunity to be able to at least see each other and talk, and the adult that's there is just sort of there to allow them to hang out. The counselors have used Flipgrid to help students to make some videos about how they're feeling about what's going on. Plus, they've set up individual office hours where students are coming in on a regular basis. Our fourth and fifth grade counselor, Mr. Scott, said today that he had one student who asked to come in for a session every day, and by the end of the week she had brought in like 5 or 6 other people so that they were all hanging out and talking to Mr. Scott. Ms. Schwartzmer is running a 6th grade movie night that's going to include all of the teachers and different things that they are doing with that. So it's not just regular school going on.
That's right. Thank you, Marcia. And thank you, Christy, for giving us that opportunity to share all the great things that are happening with our big kids. And I believe now Katia gets to talk about the little kids.
Yeah, Katia, you're on.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen as well. And Jen and I did a practice board meeting on Friday where we had sound going, so I hope it works. Can someone give me a thumbs up if you can see my presentation? And can you hear me okay? All right, awesome. Okay, so to begin with, I just want to echo what Christy and Judy said about how we have responded to this crisis. We have definitely turned lemons into lemonade. Some of us have added some things to our lemonade, but definitely lemonade. And I like this graphic. I feel like we're all just worker bees to the extreme right now. At Lower Campus, we created 24 different Google Classrooms, 12 in English and then 12 language. And I'm so proud that 100% of our students have joined both of their classrooms. We've checked out about 40 Chromebooks, and those are still occurring. I got an email today from a parent asking for a Chromebook, and we are still checking them out every Tuesday and Thursday. Our distance learning plan consists of a combination of synchronous and asynchronous sessions throughout the week. And each Google Classroom also has contributions by every single support person on campus, special ed, all the way down to connections. And I just want to highlight some of the amazing things that are going on. I asked all the teachers to tell me the assignment or task or activity that they're most proud of, and I want to share a few of them with you today. The first one, in kindergarten Spanish, students had to make a dice with the 5 senses, and they had to say what body part was associated with that sense. They then went around their homes to find objects to use with each of the 5 senses, and then recorded a video completely in Spanish. So, drum roll and see if this works. Do I see anybody drum rolling? Christy, give me a drum roll, please. All right, let's see. Can you hear it? No one hears it? All right, Jen Parker, can you please unmute for a second and verify that we did try this out?
We really did try it, and I'm not seeing anything on my end to make it any different. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that makes me so sad. I don't know what's different between today and when we tried it before.
Were you a co-host when you tried it last week? Were you a host or a co-host?
I was no, I mean, I was the host. It was just me and Katia. And she was
I wonder, Jen, if it's because of webinar and not just a Zoom meeting.
We did it in a webinar.
Oh.
Yep, we set it up exactly like this would be set up, and it worked. So I'm not sure.
Well, doodah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. Yeah, I have no idea because Jen really.
Wait, I know. I think I know how.
How
Go
is that?
down by your microphone. And is there a way down there to switch your audio?
I mean,
I
I
can't
see
get on my end. It'd have to be something on Katia's.
it just says,
Can you click the one that says same as system to see if that helps?
okay, but for the record, I did not do that when we checked it. So I just did same as system. Let me play it again. Nothing? All right. That is so weird. So I guess I want you to see the video so bad because the kids are really taking this so seriously and they just did a fantastic job. But maybe we can figure out a different way to share it. I did receive parent permission from all of the parents to show it today at board meeting. So maybe I can go back to them and say, hey, can we maybe have it on our Facebook page or something like that. But for this project, first grade has an amazing tradition called Mini Market, and they were determined to still make it work for distance learning. And so prior to the video I was going to show you, the students each created a business, they designed logos, and they wrote reviews of their product. And the culminating event was to record commercials on Flipgrid. And this is Reed Hummel, and his commercial is amazing. He is so into it, and I'm like, sign me up. I want to buy this backpack. And then the amazing thing about Flipgrid is that students are able to leave thoughtful comments on each other's commercials. So giving them feedback and really just letting them know how much they enjoyed their commercial. The next example comes from first and second grade Mandarin. Many of you know that Helga and Tutu are twin sisters who live together, and they made a video for their students about how to cook Chinese stir-fried tomatoes and eggs. The video was done completely in Mandarin, and they sent the video to their students, and they asked them to work with their families to recreate the dish. And students were then asked to either share pictures or videos about their experience. So this video was Skylar and Lotus, who are doing some co-schooling because they live close by, and that works for their families. Their families are only together with each other. But it's a video of them working together to recreate the dish. And for third grade, the English track went on a virtual field trip to the Plymouth plantation. And then they had to create an invention that could have been useful for the pilgrims during their time period. And they had to consider how the pilgrims lived and what their houses were like. Mrs. Mahargu had to remind her students that they did not have Wi-Fi back then. So keep that in mind for their invention. They then had to upload a description and a picture to Google Classroom. And this is Aiden, and I'll go ahead and read his invention or his description. My invention is a tool that helps the pilgrims plant their garden with less work. My invention uses 2 sticks, 2 sacks, and 2 blades as a plow. the pilgrims can use the sticks with the blades to plow their garden and then use the sacks that have a hole in them to plant the seeds. And this would help the pilgrims make their garden with less work. So a very cute example. And then the last one I had comes from our tech teacher, Miss Kraft. She posted a video of herself reading the book Rosie Revere, Engineer. And then students had to use Flipgrid to say what they invent. And this is Maria with her cute little invention. But I chose her video because at the very end of it, she goes, "And I love all of you so much." And it was just like the best way to end the presentation. So just a few examples of what we're doing at Lower Campus, and just a reminder of how we're gonna wrap all of this up. So we have one more week of full steam ahead, and then the week of the 11th, you'll see us kind of tapering back some and having end of the year celebrations. So that's Lower Campus. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy, Marcia, and Katia, for giving us that update. I think it's super important that the board have a glimpse, a little insight into what is actually going on at each campus. So thank you so much. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
And that was great. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. And I only wish we had the sound. That would have been even better. All right, next we have Drew.
Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. Thank you, Christy, and everybody at the school. It was a fantastic glimpse into what's been going on on the academic side of things. And so I have a relatively short report here to just talk a little bit about what's going on in academic committee. We had a meeting last week to kind of bring together some of the things we have been working on this semester with respect to questions that we're going to be examining. And the approach that we're going to be taking to using data to answer some kind of bigger level questions across the school. And we've settled in on 3 questions that are kind of key areas that we want to explore moving forward. The first one focusing on literacy skills in both the target language and in English in those first years, K through 2, K through 3. And then thinking about ways to support parents and how to support parents as they navigate that dual language environment. And the third one, preparing graduating students to be successful. And our goals with these 3 questions, our next steps on this, are to kind of split up into different groups who are going to, for people in the committee to engage in one of those questions and to start thinking about what we might do to try and figure out how to answer them and bring that back to our committee for our discussion. And that process will begin probably starting into the next academic year. And over the summer to prepare for those, that work, I'll be doing some work on the data side to help get the data that we've been working with from MAP, from Infinite Campus, and a few other places together in a way that's interpretable and usable by each of those groups to start digging into these questions. So that's the goal, kind of starting early next year in the fall to work on. So those are the things that we've been focusing on primarily in the summary of our report this past week. And I think that's pretty much all we have from this report. So keep it short today.
Nice. Okay, so next we have the Finance Committee report with Luis.
All right, give me a second. Let me just share my screen. And then so I hope you can see the slides, and you give me a thumbs up. You can hear me as well. This is not going to be as fun as the videos of the kids, and so bear with me here. So I just have 3 points to talk about this time. How are we doing financially? Or process or the status of new the PPP loan, as well also how's the budget timeline going along. So first I want to say, as I say in the previous meeting, we're not worried anymore about the budget for this year and the finances for this year, but maybe next year might be challenging. Here, this is my daughter, which is going to go to GLOW next year. So you know, she's supposed to go to bed, but she's not in bed yet. So apologize for that. And, you know, I wanted, instead of just saying like our revenue, good night. Instead of doing our revenue and our expenses, you know, as we usually do, I put a slide together to show our trajectory of our net income in the budget versus the actual. So we've seen that we've been overall pretty much on budget, and the last 2 months in February and March, we have been a little bit better, around $400,000 better. And I mean, mostly I think because, you know, the cost structure is less variable costs and we still get the same funds. But we don't know what's going to happen for next year. So thanks to our CFO and Christy, so Denise and Christy, you know, the dynamic duo of the school, they were very proactive and they got us, they applied and got approval for a paycheck protection program under the CARES Act. We got in our bank, I think already, around $1.6 million. And this is going to be used to cover payroll costs and everything that is related to the loan to make it a grant, which that means that in that case, the money will be free. So for what I remember is payroll, is some rent, healthcare premiums, maybe some other things that I don't remember right now, but we have Denise here in the line in case she want to add anything else.
It's actually 1.3, Luis.
It's 1.3 now?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. So we went from 1.6 to 1.3. Okay, good. So that means that all that money is going to be converted to a grant, which is going to be interest free. Is any of this money is not available to be converted, is going to, I mean, it can be considered a loan, then it has to be repaid within 2 years with no prepayments and a 1% interest rate. But we have decided to, you know, if any case, and the remaining amount or balance will be paid immediately. And now remember last meeting, I presented that we're going to present the budget on this board, and we're going to have the public meetings, and I was going to cook. You know, all that is gone, but but when, you know, I mean, even, you know, we even think about doing the meetings like in Zoom, which is probably going to be a lot more sad than in person. But I mean, we have received guidelines from the Georgia Charter School Association. I think that's what GCSA means, that we should not finalize our budget for the next fiscal year until they release the funding information for the state. This puts us in kind of a pickle. So we are trying to get more clarity and maybe have something for next month. But, you know, at the moment, that's what the suggestion has been. It's like, do not present the budget until we get the funding, because it is possible that the funding gets a little bit lower considering
Luis?
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought that our attorney said that we could, if we had assumptions and we thought we had a budget we want to start with, that we could do the budget meetings via Zoom, given the state law, and then we can, that way we wouldn't have to update every month. We would just be able to then update once we got the actual numbers from the state and be able to incorporate that and revise it then.
Yeah, I mean, I read what the attorney said, but I wasn't clear if what I can do the meetings without a public audience. I got that part clear. What I did not get clear was that if I present some numbers, that makes them official. And we are not supposed to have official numbers. So I wasn't clear with that particular item. So I'm gonna talk to Denise and Christy during this month, you know, to see what we want to do. If we want to present the budget as it is, because we have a budget we have been working on for a long time. But what I understood, and you can say otherwise. I mean, that was my understanding. Like, you should not present a number to make it official.
The interpretation of the law is that it requires public meetings, but then the open records law is what our attorney interpreted and said that based on open records law, during times of emergency, you can hold meetings electronically. So we can regroup on that and just align, but you know, I think we have some options.
No, I'm okay with the public meetings. For me, it was the numbers that I wasn't sure if it will make it official. But anyhow, I mean, what
But
is?
it doesn't, you know, if because we can then amend it when we get, it's fine, I think, and we can discuss this, I think it's fine if it's official, because we can then amend it once we get the actuals from the state and the county and update it. But we would have something official that would allow us to start our year.
And our timeline is just will be delayed 1 month. I mean, I've talked to Christy and Denise, and we can have, if we need a budget, we can have it until July. And then if it's not, we still, you know, we have the second bullet point that is saying it's or locally authorized school can pass a resolution of a spending resolution, or, you know, pretty much like a monthly or required budget if it's necessary. So, you know, that's, and we could definitely want to talk more about during this month, but I didn't have enough time since, you know, we get announcement of this resolution and this meeting to, at least for myself, to feel comfortable presenting the numbers. So
yeah, no, and yeah, we can talk separately. And we were thinking maybe hold off till like do those meetings at do the second meeting right before the June board meeting or something like that, and the first meeting a week or two prior. So it gives time to, if anything comes out before then, we could incorporate it. But
perfect, awesome, yeah, thank you. So I have nothing else to add. I don't know if Denise want to add anything here. I mean, sorry about my fingernails.
Yeah, I've just got
my daughter.
Kind of like Dennis Rodman's were in the thing last night.
On the graph, in case anybody's wondering why the numbers look like that, that was the Globe Trot revenue hit the bank in February. So that accounting entry will actually be changed because that was really a receivable from December and November. So that's really fundraising. That's why you're seeing that big jump. It's delayed fundraising hitting the bank. So that will kind of shift forward a couple of months. So as of right now, the budget works with the projections that we were using. We don't know what's going to happen with state revenue. People are talking about anywhere from a 10% to 20% hit. The PPP loan gives us about an additional 10% on top of what we had budgeted for. So everything is still in flux, but assuming kind of middle of the road scenario, I'm hoping it will, this paycheck protection program should help us with any cuts we see on the state side flowing down through the local side.
Hey, Denise, when do we know how that becomes a grant versus a loan? Like, do we get some kind of official notice that, hey, we don't owe it back?
I will have to ask the bank. I know that we have to spend the money within 8 weeks, and the money hit our bank account Friday. So Patty and I are making sure that we run 3 payrolls and pay insurance all within the 3 weeks. It's real loosey-goosey and unclear right now. So we're just going to do everything and it'll all be tracked through ADP and through QuickBooks. So I don't know yet what official notification we get that we're clear, but I'm sure there is something.
So we have to spend it within 8 weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
reach out offline with another question.
I mean, I don't know if this is help or this is make it confusing, but for my understanding is like, they're not going to do a detailed audit. They're just going to look at your payroll costs, all the costs that are assumed to be available to be a grant on the last periods, and they're going to do it by week or something like that. And then if you hit that average they have, they're gonna let you convert it completely. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Timing wise,
having our payroll run through ADP is very beneficial because ADP is on top of this, so they prepare the reports ahead of time. So anything we need in terms of payroll will come from ADP, but there will have to be something we get letting us know that it's turned into a grant. And as soon as I know what that is, I will pass that along.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. If any more questions, just let me know.
All right, thank you, Luis. That was great. Next, we have facilities. Ryan?
Hi, everyone. We did have a short meeting 2 weeks ago, mostly to check in with Jerry and make sure that he had the support that he needed to continue maintenance and cleaning, and that the buildings were still safe and operable despite being mostly vacant. And he reported that he's doing well and his crews seem to be doing well, and they're taking a lot of precautions with the areas of the building that they're working in so that they're not overlapping and they're not in close proximity to each other during the day, and he's spacing out the shifts as well. So, just wanted to make sure that we were taking care of our people and they were continuing to work, and that is happening. The only other item that we talked about was trying to close off the upper campus kind of entrance. So we did a little bit more brainstorming on some different ideas, and Darren put together a little bit of a storyboard with different types of styles of architecture and varying levels of secure. Well, they're all very secure. Now we're kind of looking at the aesthetics and the cost and weighing those things. So for our next meeting, we're going to try to get some quotes together and make some decisions about what direction we want to go, so that's a project that we can have done before hopefully the beginning of the school year. But those was a pretty short meeting this month, but trying to continue to make some progress.
All right, thank you, Ryan. So then we have development. Megan.
Okay. All right, so we have a lot going on in development right now. Here's an overview of where we stand with fundraising as of the end of March. We're still receiving donations for the annual fund, so thank you to everybody who is continuing to support that campaign. Globetrot and Globe Rocks, as Denise mentioned earlier, are pretty much closed out at this point. So annual fund is hopefully where we can bridge the gap. We're at 94% of our fundraising goal. So we still have about $15,200 to reach the $250,000 goal that we had this year. As you know, annual fund is becoming increasingly important for our operating budget. So we're going to be focusing on that heavily next school year with the significant budget cuts that we are expecting. The committee is starting off by creating and sending out thank you letters to all of our annual fund donors. So we have 133 for the 1920 campaign. I did want to point out that we only have 33% board participation for annual fund this year, which is a little disappointing. So I'm hoping that each of you will consider making a gift to the annual fund before the end of the school year, just to show that we're invested in the school, whether or not we have kids in the school. And also it determines whether or not we are eligible for certain grants. Really the amount doesn't matter. They're looking at the giving participation rate. So as long they're wanting 100%. So please consider making a donation to the annual fund so we can get our percentage up and be eligible for more grant opportunities. You can see the different levels that we have for the annual fund donor recognition that's on our website. We had 17 families and 1 company at the silver level, 1 family at the gold level, and for annual fund, we didn't have any donors at the platinum level.
Hey, Megan, quick question. I guess I should know how to do this, but how can I make a donation? Is there a website, or do I send a check, or?
I will tell you right now, Luis.
Thank you.
I was working with Denise, and we were able to get a text to donate campaign for free for 2 months. So we're going to give it a try, hopefully to help bridge the gap for annual fund. So the easiest way, because I just tried it today, I set it up, you can text GIVE to this number, 833-578-0610, and it literally takes, under a minute to just, it'll ask you how much, or you can just put it directly in your text, and you set up a quick account and it's all done. And you get an emailed donation receipt to you. So that is one way. You also can donate online. We have under the support tab on our website, there's a link there. You can always mail in a check as well, whatever is easiest. So we thought that this Text to Give campaign would work well with Giving Tuesday Now. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's basically a global fundraising effort. Usually it takes place during the week of Black Friday. It's like the following week, I guess, that Tuesday. This year they are adding an event on May 5th called Giving Tuesday Now in light of the COVID pandemic and just the urgent need for funding. So we're just doing a very soft campaign, not pushing it too hard, just to see if this tool works for us, and if so, we might pursue it for next school year. But this is a great way for board members if you're wanting to give to the annual fund. It's super easy to give that way. And then I'm going to work with Katris on just probably sending out one email next week and maybe a Facebook post. I don't want to step on PTCC's toes with the auction that's coming up, so we're not going to push it very hard, but I do want to next year really focus on an annual campaign for the annual fund. We will make sure that we're not stepping or pushing it during times when other large fundraising events are happening, but you will be hearing more from me throughout the year next year.
We can't wait.
Sorry?
I said we can't wait.
Yeah. All right, so for next year, we're tentatively setting our fundraising goal at $300,000 in light of the expected budget cuts. And that will include Annual Fund, Globetrot, and Globe Rocks. We are not going to lump all of the donor benefits together like we have in the past, where you give and it's part of your family's contribution. We're going to set separate goals for each of them. Globetrot's a fundraiser that has an incentive model and it's very attractive to folks. So, and that's great. I'm happy that it's that successful, but it's kind of undermining our annual fund in a way. And there is a cost to put on Globetrots, where annual fund, it's direct funds that go to our operating budget. And there's no event costs or anything like that that's associated with it. So our goals are going to be $150,000 for annual fund with 100% participation from families and board. Globetrot is 140. This is tentative because we haven't had the talk with the Globetrot folks yet, but this is just my rough estimate based on what I know at this point. And 100% participation for that as well. Globe Rocks will be 10,000 based on the success of past years. And I have revised all of the annual fund donor levels and benefits, which I'll share with you guys in just a moment. We are going to also do a bigger push for early pledges to annual fund, as well as monthly donations, because they really do add up over the year. I won't go into this in too much depth, but these are the new donor levels. With our goal to increase the free and reduced lunch numbers, and get families that may come from more lower income brackets, I wanted to lower the amount that is required for recognition. So I created these different levels, starting with the citizen level that starts at $100 or more. For all of these, we're counting it basically you're giving for the entire school year. So if you give a certain amount monthly and at the end of the year you're at 100, then you'll be recognized at the citizen level.
So Megan, is there still an objective to have like a target per student that you would give?
to still have a goal for folks. I think because most people are going to ask to have something, especially the newer parents that are coming in. A lot of them, when I was doing the booth this past summer, they said, well, what is the suggested amount? So I think it is good to have something in line. I'm still saying 400 per student, because I think that's like 75% of the student body at that level would get us to the goal. But of course, that's going to fluctuate depending on families and how many kids they have and that sort of thing. So
yeah,
I'm still working out some of those details, but I think I will probably keep that the same because the numbers still make sense even with this new goal. So the first level, the citizen level, will the recognition they'll get is the placement on the 2 donor recognition monitors that we'll have at each of the campuses. So that's kind of just like the baseline recognition. And then it goes up from there. Like the benefactor level, they can get their logos on, we're also doing like website pages and recognition for certain folks. I think starting at the patron level, you can get your name on the website through July. We're doing their name on the yearbook annual fund page. The benefactor level gets 2 tickets to the auction, where the sustainer level gets 2 tickets to Globe Rocks, to get people at our events to spend some money, some of those larger donors. And then we'll also have 2 annual fund thank you banners that will be at each of the locations. And I'm working with Laura just with PTCC's banners as well to make sure we're not stepping on each other's toes there, and that maybe it's a combined banner. I don't know. We'll figure that out. And then we're also adding 2 new levels at the bottom, the Global Leadership Circle and the Global Advocate Circle. And these are going to recognize folks that are giving for a sustained amount of time. So the Leadership Circle are for folks who are giving $1,000 or more for 2 or more consecutive years to annual fund. And then the Advocate Circle are folks that give any amount to the annual fund for 3 or more consecutive years. And they'll be able to have their name continuously displayed on the 2 donor monitors that will be at the campuses as well as on our website. And then of course, depending on how much they give each year, they'll be recognized in one of the other levels that you see there for that particular year. Any questions on that? I know it's a lot.
Hey, Megan, this is Ryan. Is that going to be like starting this year, or are you going to retroactive to the past 2 years?
You mean for when we would?
Yeah. So like if you
display the names.
Yeah. So for Advocate Circle, for instance, if I've given the past 2 years and this upcoming year is my 3rd year, then am I that, or is this year 1 for everybody for everything?
So I am going back because I have the data back from the beginning of the school. So the people who have given 3 years starting this next school year will be recognized. And then once they've hit that 3-year mark, if they've, they're at 2, but after next year they'll hit 3, then they'll be recognized at that point.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the clarification.
Sure. And then obviously like the annual fund thank you banners will be for folks who gave the previous year. And then the website will just continually update probably on a monthly basis as people hit the certain levels. We'll upgrade them or add them if they reach a certain amount. Some other really quick updates for database management. FG Beauregard, who's on my committee, is really taking the lead with this. She's researching different vendors, and that's still in progress. We plan to make the switch to an all-inclusive management system over the summer, so it'll be the least disruptive time for us. And we're currently reviewing timing, data, and cost to have that be a seamless process, hopefully. So we're hoping to have a recommendation for the board soon for that. And then we're also looking at grants for new Chromebooks for 4th and 6th grade students. We have a grant that we're about to submit for the Georgia Foundation for Public Education and Innovation Fund Foundation. It's a really long name. It's $10,000, and we are applying for 25 Chromebooks, new Chromebooks with warranties, as well as a school subscription to Kami, which is an online learning, distance learning platform that Judy had researched. So we thought a grant would be a good way to pay for that. So that's going in by the 30th. And then I've submitted 7 different Walmart community grants to different Walmarts and Sam's Club stores that are in our neighborhood. If anybody has any time and wants to help me reach out to some of the store managers to pitch Globe and just explain why we need their support. We did apply for Chromebooks for them. They're pretty small grants, but still could make an impact if we get a couple of them. Let me know if you're available to do that and help out. And then I have, I think about 12 other prospects that we're going to be grant prospects that we'll pursue over the summer to hopefully get some more funding for the Chromebooks. And then our next committee meeting is on May 19th at 7:30 via Zoom. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Hey, Sharon, can we
Yes.
go back to Luis really quick?
Sure.
Yeah, Luis, we do need to bring up that chiller. I apologize. That was my fault.
That's fine. So, so the board have to vote to approve the purchase of the chiller?
Because it's over a certain amount. That's
Yeah.
why.
It's definitely over a certain amount. Let me see.
What, a chiller like a freezer?
It's for the air conditioning, right?
Oh,
At Lower Campus.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's one of those big boys.
Is it, I mean, did we have one and it went out, or is there an issue?
You could say we had half of one.
All right, so 41 grants. We have to sign the checks this week, I guess. You know, Christy, you give more details than I have. I mean, I know that the facilities committee approved the work performed.
Yeah, I can talk to this. We approved this 2 meetings ago when Jerry brought it to us. And we told him, yeah, we approved it and told him to go ahead with it, because this was a part that was needed to make sure that the air conditioning was going to work as the weather warmed up, and we did not want to wait, didn't want to wait on it. We wanted to have the building ready to go when it got warmer, not foreseeing the future. But yeah, we approved this 2 meetings ago.
Excellent. So I moved the. I wish I know the right vernacular to this. Who's moving the motion?
I'll make the motion. I don't mind. So I move to approve the expense for the chiller repair and to replace the defective compressor at Lower Campus.
This is within our, oh, sorry. Thanks, Luis. And then this is within our funding allocation that we already have for maintenance for the year.
Yes.
And were there quotes? I'm sorry, did I miss that? Were there quotes received for this work?
We had one other quote, and this is the vendor that we have a service contract with, and the quote was competitive, so we are sticking with the vendor that we've been using for our service contracts.
I just want to make, sorry, this is Denise, one quick comment is we are going to have to amend the current year's budget, as we all know. There was a question asked about whether this falls within the current maintenance and operations. That will be amended just for various reasons.
Yep. All right. I
Any other
second the motion.
discussion?
Yep.
Yeah, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you for letting us go back. Sorry about that.
No problem. Jonathan, you're up next.
Okay, thank you. And so I'm going to share my screen here. Before I joined, I put together a little 30, 60, 90 onboarding plan. And so with the first 30 days, I had some goals, and I'm happy to say that I've been getting through it. Met with Christy, Megan, and Kevin Holder. Settings not spelt wrong, spelt incorrectly there, apologize. Put an email out to our friends at the PTCC. I know you're trying to get on my calendar right now. Would also like to meet with Robin, who has been a vocal parent in the meetings I've been to, and I enjoyed chatting to her when you guys went for that long executive session. Sent out a survey and received 5 responses, waiting on others. I have no visibility in the budgets yet, but it's all in good time. And we confirmed there's a group email, so we don't have to keep trying to remember everyone's email addresses for the board. You can just send board@theglobacademy.net, which will save everyone. And so that's good news as well. Had a great meeting with Christy, and what we've done is set up for Catrice and Christy and myself to start meeting bi-weekly to get fast started on this, starting tomorrow. And then we'll probably turn back to monthly after that. So the first meeting tomorrow. Also set up an org chart, which I know you can't see, but I will distribute it to make sure that everyone feels it's the, I've got everyone's spellings right and correct, but the different committees are laid out with the committee chairs and all the people that are in part of the committee. And so we can look to continually improve that. I'll get that sent out to each board member this week, so you can make comments for me, please. As far as my own organization, we set up a Kanban flow sheet that allows me to prioritize and organize myself. And this is a real big win for when I've got a lot of different requests from different departments to put it in a to-do list and then work out how we're going to progress things through. Survey, as I said, we got 5 responses, and good news is really kind of everyone felt that that we're on the upper end of the 5, some definite can-do betters. I'm looking forward to, if I can please ask the rest of the board to put a few minutes into doing it. These things take time to set up and get going on. And so I really appreciate just a few minutes of your time. You should have all got an email link with it, so it should be pretty simple. It's only 5 questions. It literally will be 3 minutes of your time. It will save me hours trying to chase you, and that'd be fantastic. So right now, just getting going. My biggest thing is recruitment. When you look at my org chart, everyone else has got 4, 10, 15 people helping them. It's just me at the moment. So I do have an interview tomorrow with somebody that Kevin had put through to me, someone that had originally expressed interest. And so quite excited about talking to her tomorrow, and looking for, I had a great meeting with Megan as well about the development committee. Clearly, we understand the importance of raising funds, and so looking forward to helping her there as well. So a lot more to come in the next board meeting. We're setting up stat sheet with Catrice and Christy, so we can look at month-on-month results and how many emails go out and open rates, website support, so we can start seeing what's working, what's not. But first 30 days is all about discovery, and so I'm really just kind of wrapping that up now. I speak quick, so we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Sounds like you're ramping up nicely. I like that.
I'm ramping up, ramping away. All right, jolly good. Thank you. I'll mute myself.
Thank you. All right, next we have Abba.
Okay. So I have in the board packet submitted a draft of the bylaws that we have marked up and revised, along with I can see if I can manage this share screen. Let's see if I can do this. Is my screen sharing now?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Well, there's a chart also in the board packet. What'd you say?
I can share if you want.
Okay, sure, thanks.
I have to go down to it. Give me a sec. All your pictures are on top of my slidey thing. Here's the chart.
Yep. So, yep. Before the chart is the actual markup, and then it's summarized in this chart format, so you can see what's been added and what's been taken away. And I won't go through it now because there's some pockets in there that I would like for the board to take a look at. When you look at the actual draft, there'll be little comments in there. I think I highlighted it to call your attention to some of the things I need feedback on on a consensus basis. But just so you know, the highlights of things that we did with the bylaws is we cleaned it up. For example, we did some cleanup with section references or inconsistent, defined terms, things like that. We added in a conflict of interest provision. We cleaned up and made clear the committees of the board that we have. We added in a board vacancy section on how we handle board vacancies. We added a trustee emeritus position, which is basically any board member, any exiting board member that we really, feel has some kind of specialized knowledge or historical information that we would like to sit on the board on a non-voting, as a non-voting member. We have a position for that person. It's not a required position that we have to fill. Board indemnification and insurance for the board members. I added in emergency bylaws, and one of the things that we need feedback from, and I think the finance committee has already firmed this up. I just need to regroup with them, is the thresholds for approval, which are required. So the bylaws, the way that the approach that I took was to sample different bylaws from charter schools, from different schools and different geographies, and kind of did a comparison and best practices, and I compared it against what we had to fill in any holes. And so that's it. So my request is, my action item or request for the board is to please take a look at the draft and look at any questions, outstanding questions, and maybe I'll follow up the board meeting with an email with the specific questions in there, and then get some feedback, and then we'll do the next round. The committee has looked at it too, and they provided their comments, so we're in good shape there. So I think once we get some input from everyone, we can circulate another draft and hopefully be final form.
This is great.
Thank you. The staff handbook is another document that we're working on, and that one I was hoping to present to the board today, but as I started reviewing it, Christy, I had some questions. I'm halfway through it, and so instead of submitting it to the board, I'd want to circle back with you and Karen and just smooth out a couple things or clarify a few points, and then we can submit that hopefully the next board meeting. So that's the status of the staff handbook. Our next governance meeting will be May 13th. We're looking for additional members. If anyone out there is interested in joining us, we'd love and welcome the help. And that's it.
All right, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And next we have strategic planning. Katie, I didn't know if you wanted to say anything else.
No, I included just a brief sort of update for archival in the board packet, but as Christy said in her executive director's report, it's the current timeline is paused with everything, and the updates from what has been done in this academic year she summarized for us in her report.
Great. All right, and then we have, I went down to the bottom of the packet, so I don't see the agenda. Give me a second. Next is diversity. Monique.
Well, we met as a committee on, I have a report, but you don't have to really see it right now because it was a lot of.
Do you want me to show it?
You can. I mean, you can if you like, but it really was just a kind of a notating what we talked about, what I reported out on at the last board meeting, but it was since the previous diversity committee meeting. So just kind of went over a lot of that and got any new updates about the distance learning and how it impacts our diverse populations, and if there were any help and assistance that we could provide in the laptop situation. The way it came over from my minutes to the report, it doesn't really flow as well because I should have done a better job. Sorry about that. But it's all documented there. Let me see. So the only other thing that we did address, in addition to some of those questions that we talked about during the last board meeting, was there was some new business in that we talked with Meg Brown about recruiting and kind of where we were with admissions and enrollment, even though that's something that Christy touched on, but again, we were wondering kind of what our heat map looked like as it related to like our socioeconomic diverse kids and families, our new ones, and where were they coming from and how we can service them, and how maybe getting another heat map around that issue would help us while we're looking into our transportation needs and focusing on future recruitment. We really discussed the concerns that that kind of come up with making sure that our families with socioeconomic challenges are even diverse in themselves. Like, we didn't want to look up and see a large number of, now that we've kind of hit the goal or on the path to hitting the goal of having the diversity that we were striving for. But we didn't want to look up and say, oh, wow, all of our kids with challenging socioeconomic situations are all from a Black community or all from this Hispanic community, because that creates a different environment where our kids that are diverse kind of look at, say, hey, we have a large amount of Mexican kids who seem to not have the same things we have, and therefore all Mexican kids must be poor. And so we just have to make sure that that diversity is even captured within our diverse populations, and that's really important for us. And so we were talking about, we really spent some time figuring out how to focus recruitment on those areas. And the surveys, there are still additional surveys that we're going out with from the, what's Meg's official title? The registrar, I guess.
Admissions director.
Admissions director, okay. For newly enrolled families. And we're still trying to figure out ways to make sure that we're available as a committee to help assist with families from our diverse populations feeling connected in Globe, and making sure that they understand that there are resources and folks that look like them or have same situations as them that are thriving and enjoying their time at Globe. So we're definitely trying to be a partner in that effort. And that was pretty much it. Pretty much it for the diversity committee. And I actually let them know that that was going to be our last meeting for the school year. I heard a couple other board members say that their next meeting was sometime in May. I did not anticipate a May meeting, mainly because I just really need to get with Christy and figure out if we're not going to be able to get the vendor what is our plan for making sure that we have the policies that we need in our staff and our communities as it relates to issues around diversity and inclusion and equity. And so that will probably just be a meeting between Christy and I as we figure out how we're going to move forward with that without being able to expend those funds at this time. And that was it. And we're just going to continue to communicate by email until we start back meeting in the new academic year.
Thank you, Monique. Anyone have any questions? Not, then next up, Brian, do you have an update for the Executive Director Evaluation Committee?
I do not. You've been meeting weekly. We're gonna have to get her end of year scheduled for June. That's our next task.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. So that was all that's on our regular agenda. We do have, I don't think we have any specific old or new business, but we do have the executive session at the end of the meeting. So that to do that, we'll adjourn from this and go to a separate call. And then you all should have that link from Christy in your email, and then return here at the end to close out the meeting. So if we're good on the main agenda, if I can get a motion for us to go to executive session, and we'll take, Denise, are you coming with us? I think.
I'll move for us to go to executive session.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Jen or Christy, can you send that other link to Denise too?
To me too. I don't know if I have it. This is Abba.
Yeah, Denise, it's my it's my office link.
Okay, I'll find it.
Is it in the original email?
No.
No, it came from Christy.
I sent it today.
Okay.
It's subject is reports.
Okay. All right, so we're hanging up from here?
Yeah, we can disconnect here and come back afterwards just to make sure you don't into.
Jen, can we try it now?
Yeah, go ahead. Let me just get, I see, hey, Chip's still in there. Just trying to make sure everybody gets out for this executive session real quick.
Bash.
Yeah, that's Bash.
Is Ryan frozen or still here?
I don't know. I'm gonna remove him, and he can sign back in when he needs to, because otherwise, yeah. Oops. What's weird? It won't let me remove him.
It's like he's frozen.
Yeah. Okay. We still have Megan and Melanie here. Hi, guys. Hanging out. All right, you want to go ahead and try it?
Yeah. Let's see if I still have it up. Yep, I closed it. Let me open it up again. I would turn my video on, but I'm in my pajamas. You don't want to see that.
Did you hear the sound when you were playing it, the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be it then.
All right, here we go.
Baba.
And today I just shared like that tab, but on Friday I think I shared my whole desktop. So let me actually share the whole desktop again.
Okay.
Can you see the presentation?
I can.
Okay. Let me go to a video. All right, so I'm gonna play it.
Yep.
Really?
Yep, that was it.
Megan and Melanie, can you guys hear it as well?
Yeah, Megan just messaged and said she can hear it.
Ah, I see it now. So it was either that or it was me only sharing the window. One of those two.
Yeah, because last time, I mean, I'm gonna bet the headphones was the issue, but yeah.
And it's funny because I did the headphones only because one day at staff meeting they said I was echoing, and it went away with my headphones.
Oh,
So at the very last minute, I was like, "Oh, I'll put my headphones on," and I should have never even grabbed them because I wasn't even thinking about it. No one else had headphones on.
well, a couple people did, but they weren't trying to share videos. What's that?
Yeah, I was just trying to be cognizant of the quality of when I was talking.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, Marcia had headphones on.
Yeah, she did, but it was Judy that was.
Oh, Judy was sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So now we figured it out, though, at least.
Yep. Cool. Well, now we can. Yeah. Now I know.
But I'll check with Katra so maybe we can put it on the website just because it was, it was cute and the videos are already embedded in there. So
yeah,
we
I'm sure
will.
people like to see them.
Yeah. Do you have any idea how long this will take with them being in there?
I have no idea. Last time, I mean, probably at least half an hour.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and head to bed. I am exhausted.
All right. I'm going to sit here and wait till they get back.
Okay. Bye, Megan. Bye, Melanie. Good night.
Good night, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Did everyone make it back?
Yes.
Believe so.
Yes.
So can we get a motion to return from executive session?
I move to return to executive session.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So as output of executive session, do we have a motion for the board?
Yes, I move that we approve moving forward with the legal matter discussed in executive session.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. That's all of our meeting material for today. Our next meeting is scheduled, well,
Isn't that Memorial Day?
yeah, so we either have to do it the Monday before or after, is usually what we do.
I vote for after.
June 1st?
I vote for after. The Monday before is going to be hard for me.
Yeah.
The Monday before is also 8th grade graduation.
Yeah, too much going on. So let's do June 1st is our next meeting, Kevin?
Got it.
All right. Well, thank you all. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate all of your efforts and input. Thank you. See you next month.
Thanks all. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Adjourn. Bye.
You have to move the motion. I move and